Let's talk about the overall economic impact as well, because when the US election happens, just 2 days later, we're also going to see the Federal Reserve make its rates decision. Now, of course, Saudi Arabia moves in lockstep with the Fed because of the currency peg. So walk me through your own expectations on what lower rates are going to mean for the Saudi economy moving forward. And not just lower rates, but also lower oil, with oil tracking at around 70 USD now.
First of all, I think a lot of people would speculate and will wait for the Fed to decide. I was last week in Washington, and Chair Jay Powell was there, and I understand their thinking. I appreciate really the process they go through. Generally, the likelihood of trend is for interest rate to go down. I think that is helpful for the world economy in addition to the US economy. That will actually help growth. We need to make sure that the global, at large, global trajectory towards growth goes to the upside, and lower interest rate actually helps. From a Saudi perspective, I think that will definitely help us. We're going through significant reform that requires a lot of funding, and the cheaper the funding, the better for us.
You and I have spoken before about the kingdom's ongoing and aggressive diversification efforts, but at the same time as well, we are seeing oil prices below the IMF fiscal break-even. So what does that mean for the budget, and how important is fiscal discipline in this environment?
This is actually a very good question, Dan, and I think it just summarizes possibly what Vision 2030 is about. Vision 2030 is about decoupling the Saudi economy from the fluctuation of oil. And we came a long way over the last 7 years, long way when we started. Today, our non-oil GDP is 52% of the total GDP. That is significant diversification. Our non-oil revenues have grown significantly. Now it covers about 37% of our expenditure. That is significant diversification, and that gives you a lot of comfort that you can maneuver and be stable despite the fluctuation in oil price. Our aim is to make sure that our plans are stable and predictable despite the fluctuation in the commodity price. That is going to continue. We are not going to blink. We have significant fiscal resource under our disposal, and we are very disciplined in our fiscal position. I mean, if you look at what we have done over the last 6 years, it's actually remarkable, bringing deficit down from 13% to 0, and now spending even more to support our diversification plan, our strategies, even with a deficit of 2%, is remarkable.
So is the trajectory of Saudi spending sustainable today?
Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. And we have published actually recently our next 3 years numbers, and we think it is very sustainable.